Military restrictions, war guilt and reparations. I want to start with the military restrictions. The Treaty of Versailles started by looking at the size of Germany's army. Obviously France was concerned it was going to get attacked for a third time. Germany's army was limited to 100,000 men. Conscription was not allowed, and they were not allowed to have any tanks or military aircraft. The German Navy, although it didn't look like this, was limited to 15,000 sailors. They were only allowed 6 battleships and absolutely no submarines whatsoever. The Rhineland, which was an area of German territory in the west bordering France, was demilitarized. This meant that although Germany still owned it, no troops, no weapons were allowed within 50 kilometers of the River Rhine. Allied troops, French, American and British, could occupy this area for 15 years, although in reality they'd gone by 1930, but it was to act as a buffer zone between Germany and France. France believed it would give them a little bit more of a heads up if things were coming their way. Okay, now let's look at war guilt. Article 231 of the treaty was what was known as the war guilt clause. Germany was forced to sign this treaty. That's why they saw it as a diktat or a dictated peace. So Article 231 in the treaty blamed Germany for the war and the causing of it and the effect of it. This was fundamental because, like where there's a blame and a claim on the television, if you have someone to blame, then you can get compensation money out of them. So the War Guilt Clause, Article 231, blamed Germany and her allies for starting the war. And finally, reparations. Paying compensation or reparations to a victorious power is nothing new. Germany did it to France when they beat them in 1871, making them pay £200 million in that short war. The war had been costly for everybody. All the countries involved had lost large numbers of men and spent a vast amount of money on armament, transport, supplies. In the case of France and Belgium as well, on top of their losses and things, the war was fought on their territory, so especially in the north of France and parts of Belgium, the land was just totally destroyed. But settling on one figure was really difficult and important to do. How do you put a price on someone's life, for example? Eventually, a reparations commission was set up, and eventually it reported back in 1921, and the cost of the reparations was set at £6,600 million or 6.6 billion. Germany was originally given 42 years to pay, but the amount was reduced in 1929, and actually Germany stopped paying it under Hitler in the 1930s.